Right, lads. We've discussed the league. I want to come down onto players and managers this season, and I want to start as a striker. I want to start with goals scored, and I'm going to make a statement here just to throw something out there. Jamie Vardy, 33 years old, right? He's finished top scorer in the league in a Leicester team that, to be fair, they've overachieved. Even finishing fifth is overachieved. He's finished top of the league. However, I'm going to throw this out there. I think Jamie Vardy is the most underrated striker in Premier League history. Agree? Disagree?
Oh, it's a big statement. I think it's a big statement. I don't think he's as underrated as people say. I think he gets a lot of credit for what he does. I don't think people... I get what you're saying.
You don't mention him.
If
you were to say, okay, Premier League strikers, Aguero, Salah, Mane, Aubameyang, he doesn't really get mentioned in the same...
If you put him in the same bracket as someone who came and started the Premier League at the same age as him, it's like Ian Wright. If you compared them two, you'd choose Wrighty over him, wouldn't you? So I think, yeah, he's had a good season and he went on that unbelievable record of scoring goals for 11 straight games. But is he as good as the top Premier League strikers? I don't think he makes it in the top 10. And that's me being honest. If we said between us, let's pick top 10 Premier League all-time strikers, Vardy don't cross your mind. Yeah, he's a good player, but I don't think he crosses your mind in terms of top 10 strikers in Premier League.
And that's the point. I think the fact that he doesn't cross your mind, and really he should be,
maybe not of all time.
Season, yeah.
He doesn't seem to get the credit amongst the current strikers. Never mind of all time. All time, is a massive shout. But me personally, my opinion on this. Second, and Hammy, you can take over from here. But for me, my opinion is Jamie Vardy doesn't get the respect he deserves. This is a guy who, for me, he hasn't been in the youth teams at the big clubs. He's come into the Premier League very late in his career and managed to score goals consistently over and over again, season after season. I mean, that's really, really tough ask for someone to come into the league and do that consistently.
What I was going to say was, over the last 5 seasons, he's been there or thereabouts, and he's not really had an off season. Even if Leicester have dropped off the top spot or whatever, he's been there. Which other striker can we say over the last 5 years? Okay, there's Salah, right? But apart from Salah and Mane, maybe there's nobody really else you can think of. So why isn't he coming to the top of the list? I think it's because of his background a little bit as well, and who he is, and the way that he's come to the Premier League.
He's not glamorous, is he?
He's not the typical striker. He came through the academy. He played, all the way through for the same club, and then he broke through. And I think it's because it's this thing that Vardy's like a party kind of animal. He comes from like a council estate. He played for like Sheffield, like a Sheffield team, like in low league teams. But why? Just because he's done it. He's done every league and come into the Premier League and absolutely smashed it.
I don't think it's due to that. I don't think it's. I would have, he's never crossed my mind, and I'm not thinking because he came from Fleetwood, he's a bad player. I think just now, modern day football, it's the flair, isn't it? You put Aguero because he's got that bit of magic that he'll do, and Aubameyang, and he's got that bit of extra pace, and he's got the shot. I just think Vardy is your good old-fashioned striker. You kick it in behind, and he'll run chase and bang it in the net. So I think that's why he don't cross people's mind as much, because you've got strikers in the world right now that have got that bit extra. When you think about really, really good strikers, you've got Aguero, he's got that bit extra, hasn't he? You got Mbappe, all those types. Even Benzema, Benzema is quite similar to Vardy in terms of very, very underrated for what he does. But I think it's because people like to see flair nowadays. I think that's why he doesn't cross people's mind.
Cully,
I think you're chatting shit, Harvard.
Cully, I want to come to you because
it's better than your number 9.
Because we're talking about
we'll get onto that as well.
You look at the goal scorers and you look at the big names there. Like I say, Salah, Mane, Aguero, all the usual suspects. Jamie Vardy, for you, Cully, is he underrated? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, massively underrated, man. Massively underrated. You have to remember, right? When you mentioned them names, Harbour, like your Albers and whoever else you said, I can't remember who else you said. Who was it? Aubameyang and who else?
Aguero.
Salah, Mane.
Well, whoever it is. These players, right? These players come with a massive price tag. How much did fucking Vardy cost? And look what he's doing season in, season out in the Premier League. Man United would have loved him. I'm telling you. And just to go back on that Bobby Firmino point, you cunt. Listen. He's defined by a number, right? He's defined by a number. So when he said, what has your number 9 done? Don't look what a number 9 has done. Look what he does for the team. Messi's a number 10. Technically, a number 10's a playmaker. He's still the record record scorer, whatever. Fucking Ronaldo's a number 7. 7s are traditionally wingers. He's still the fucking record goal scorer. Your so-called pitching him by him being a number is fucking bollocks. What he does for Liverpool, man, there's no other player in the Premier League that can do it. He hasn't scored enough goals this season. Who's been better this season? He's still world class.
Who's been better this season, Vardy or Firmino?
Vardy has for his team.
No,
but could Vardy play in Liverpool team? No, because Vardy's taking goals away from Salah and Mane. You need to look at what he brings to the table.
My statement was Vardy is better than Firmino right now. I don't think that's wrong.
No, he scores more goals than Bobby Firmino, but will Vardy fit in? And it could go vice versa. Would Vardy fit into Liverpool team? No. Well, he would, but then Salah and Mane aren't scoring that many goals. Fact, right? Would Bobby be able to go into that other team? Probably not, because who else have they got apart from Vardy? You get what I mean? But the whole thing about it is more than what your number 9 does. Bobby's more than a number 9, bro. Don't let just a number define what he does for that team. If he got taken out of that team, they're on their ass, man.
I can't help it, man. That Manny's put that definition in my head.
It's all right, you're a dickhead. It's all right. I get it.
I can't let it go, man. Number 9 has to score goals, man. Number 9 has to score goals.
I think it's tough to compare. Tough to compare Firmino and Vardy, Manny. I want to come to you because I know you're not the biggest Firmino fan, but I just think that Vardy would score goals in most teams. I think that's how good he is, and I think it's unfortunate that for me, I really rate Vardy. I know what you're saying, Harvey. He doesn't seem to have the flair of an Aguero, but he actually is a lethal finisher once he gets a chance. He knows where the goal is. He knows how to put the ball away. He scores some good goals. Manny, would you take a Jamie Vardy? And maybe not now with your front 3, but would you have in the past? And let's have your opinion on this Firmino bit as well.
Get ready for the bullshit.
So Vardy gets you 20, 25 goals a season, don't they? Of course, I think any team would take him in the Premier League, wouldn't they? So if you look at United teams of the past, where we signed Van Persie just to get us 20, 25 goals in that season, and we won the league. But I still think if you put Vardy in that Liverpool team, I still think Salah and Mane will still score goals, man. Yeah, the whole Firmino thing helps Salah and Mane score goals, and he obviously does a job for the team. But as a number 9, you've got to be scoring goals, man.
Are you saying if you put Vardy in the Liverpool team, he'll still score goals? He'll still work as hard as Firmino?
No way, man.
I think Salah and Mane is that good, yeah. That if they had Vardy in that team, Vardy
he don't work like that.
They'd get
hold on. Go on, Manny, carry on.
They'd get as many goals.
Harvey's doing this to Manny, holding his balls. Go on, Manny. Go on, Manny. Good boy, Manny.
I just think you lot. The thing is, right, Manny said there, Vardy said Vardy in that Liverpool team wouldn't do that bad, and the other 2 would still score goals. That's a fact. Yeah, I think you lot across. I never said Vardy's a shit player. I just don't think he's as underrated. I think he gets the credit. He's finished with the top 5 top goal scorers for the last 4 or 5 seasons. He's a good player, man. He'd make it into Man United team, even right now, probably. Not saying this.
He's a hungry goal scorer that knows where the net is, whether his eyes are closed, back to the net, whatever. He just knows where the net is. He's not one of them players like Firmino that makes space for other people. Vardy is just, his intention is just to score goals and hungry for goals. That's it. And he's complete. I don't think you could say that Vardy could fit into that Liverpool team and do exactly what.
You'll never know, innit? Yeah. I'm just going
to throw something out here.
He's very underrated, Vardy.
That was the point. It wasn't necessarily a comparison against Vardy and other players. The underrated was. Let's talk about. Sorry, Smiley. Just 1 second. I just want to talk about some of the key season statistics. Top goal scorer is a huge achievement in the Premier League. Massive achievement. And I just think hats off to Jamie Vardy, an incredible striker who's done it for season after season, coming from non-league into the Prem. That's very special to do that. Smiley.
So I was just going to say, everyone here would pick Aguero and rate Aguero over Vardy, yeah?
Yeah.
100%.
Past 3 seasons combined, he scored more goals than Aguero.
Amazing.
Vardy has.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's why I said he's underrated, bro. You can't take it away from him. He's massively underrated.
I honestly think he's the most underrated striker in Premier League. Because
that's with Aguero in Man City's team, not in Leicester's team. That's with him.
I genuinely didn't realise that he was that underrated. I didn't think he was that underrated, but Probably. If you're not saying he's underrated and people don't talk as much, then fair enough.
You're a Man United fan, you don't know shit. That's why.
Exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
What do you say?
Next topic.
Harbour,
Let's talk